worked for him coming into that last game he played.
And like Zuna's used his shouting to crack a lot of other teams. Elements didn't seem to think that would affect them. We'll see if he can actually get under their skin.
Well, we'll see if the psychological warfare comes into play this time. We aren't a champion select, so it's all about the picks and bans right now.
Interesting. They ban out the Akali. That is definitely aimed at Voyboy. The Xin Zhao, that's basically anyone's going to ban that if they're not first pick because he's a really high tier jungle right now. Then the global presence from Shen. That's pretty much given too.
I feel like with the Elise ban, them banning the Akali again, he was trying to force something out with an Elise ban, because obviously Voyboy plays that as well. He doesn't want to go against it, but now they've kind of just shredded their champion pools in that top lane.
Yeah, I mean, Voyboy was one of the first to popularize Elise, but everybody else has picked it up. They all know that she's really, really strong. Even with those mana nerfs, she's still a bully in that top lane, and they don't want to give her away. She's just had so many tools. By the time you're level 3, you've got 6 moves at your disposal.
It's always great to watch those champions, or the highlight champions when they get them. Back in the day, West Rice. You know, Voyboy's still on Akali as well, as we were just talking about.
Yeah.
It's so great to see the highest level of play come out of a champion. Tarek coming in for the first pick. I don't believe we've seen elements on Tarek. I can't recall right away.
Yeah, he actually played Tarek yesterday.
I'm glad you remember.
I've got that one. But first pick, Tarek, it was not a first pick. We've got first pick in all of the TSM games. Tarek has either been first picked or banned. And that was really because TSM was so fond of all the armor shredding that the extra flat armor shred from Tarek was a huge boon. And everybody knew it. So they would either first ban it against them, first pick it. But yeah, so this time Curse is going to grab that. Their bottom lane is going to be really dangerous with that.
And we do see that Saint has kind of put the bug in everyone's ear. We see some more Hecarim coming in here, but also with the Nidalee to throw out some poke in that comp.
Yeah, and Saint is hovering on Jarvan right now. I think that'll probably be a lock-in because he is one of those 3 really, the trinity of bruisers that I was talking about in the jungle, him along with Vi and Shinsao. But Jarvan he can, yes, even better. Okay, I talked about it yesterday. I look kind of like a fool. A lot of people were calling me out because I was talking about the jungle Kassadin. Saint is either just piling on more right now to make me look even worse. It doesn't look like it. Look at his face. He looks serious, okay? He's going to redeem me right now. He's going to lock that in.
Oh, my gosh. I couldn't imagine if they did. We'll definitely have to discuss what it comes. But yeah,
he was just piling
the super
on.
hover, he's just holding. There's the smile.
Yeah, there it is.
Big jerk. Nijaki looking to grab up Misfortune for Cop. One of the super favorites for Cop coming into here, and looks like he's going to get it.
Yeah.
Zuna could be trying his hand at pulling out a different card in the champion pool this time.
Vayne would fall into the similar category of the late game carry.
There you go.
The thing is, the late game carries that he's usually really confident with are the ones with excessive range.
Yes.
Vayne is like the opposite of that. Vayne is all about your mechanical skill and dodging things. So we'll have to see how this turns out. I think that it's also going to be a good champion for him because if you have Vayne chasing you and he starts yelling at you, you get into the wrong position next to a wall or something, he could land
And if
some
he
really
starts
good
yelling,
condemns.
you do more damage.
Yeah, you do way more damage.
Way more damage.
Especially the Pixie over there. I'm sure Muffin QT is going to feel really good with that too.
I like the synergy of Vulcan's comp, but it's more of what seems like a safety comp. You know, they have great reinitiate on the chase. If they can get a fight down on low health bars for Curse, they'll be able to chase them all day with the catch-up they have.
Yeah.
Not too much disengage for them, though. So if they get into this fight, it's just going to be some Xmithy pushing people around.
Yeah, I do like their comp. I mean, they've got their late game really secured. As long as Zuna's able to dodge those skill shots and stuff I was talking about, that'll be fine with them having Vayne. And then Hecarim, really great late game.
Yep.
It's not that he has a bad early game. It's just that his late game overshadows his early game by a tremendous amount. He's beast late game. So we have the resets that could come out, though. The last pick, Katarina for Voyboy top, probably. They could still switch it up. He actually has done Rise top a few times on his stream.
Yeah.
And he talks about how well Rise scales. And so you never know with Curse. Like, Saint could be telling them to troll me once again, just adding on that.
Kobe's casting this one, guys. We got to troll him. But no, I like the comp coming in. Obviously, we see Jarvan coming in a lot after the kind of backpedal of a Moo not being used as much. He can create that same scenario with his ultimate, with the MF ultimate as well, the bullet time.
Yeah.
So they're synergizing that as well. And really a lockdown composition to keep Vulcan, whoever they catch, right inside that. And actually go for Sona. We haven't seen too much Sona except for from the first week. It's been a lot of Tarek Lulu.
A solo Lulu we have not seen in quite a long time. Dignitas were actually the ones to popularize that with the double support solos, going support Lulu and support Soraka.
Yeah.
So long ago that everyone immediately banned those champions
IPL-ish
against them.
or something like that?
Yeah, it was
way
like
back.
it was like an MLG or something like that, but it was so long ago, like we can't even remember which one it was. It was so potent, though, and that's going to be a really nice matchup. I'm glad they switched it up. So Jackie is going to take the Rise. Voyboy's going to go ahead top with that Katarina. He switches off his teleport in favor of the Ignite when he does see the Lulu. So that says that he's not confident enough in that lane to be able to run support also. He's going to need the extra lane presence of having that Ignite in his pocket.
And I'm happy, not happy, but interested to see Jackie on Rise. Obviously does play him, but it's not really Jackie's playstyle right off the bat. He's a little bit more passive than he is aggressive, than he is, a Rise just bombing through the jungle is what we'll see, tanky as hell, through the middle of the fight, trying to rune prison someone to start the fight. So it's interesting to see these guys having to definitely bring these champions into their pool and know they have to bring them out for matches like this.
Yesterday he used them and he did pretty well. They had some road bumps there in the mid game, but they definitely came back strong. They were able to finish it out, and that's really been the story with Curse. Even though they have had a few hiccups in a couple games, they're always able to pull it together in the late game and finish it off. Like nobody has been able to finish off a game against them.
Well, let's see. They could be handed their first loss here between Curse and Vulcan. It's up to Vulcan to make that happen within this matchup. Here we go, guys. We are on to Summoner's Rift, and we are going to see what these two teams try to produce here for your first game of the day.
All right, so Voyboy actually switching at the last second back to the teleport from that Ignite, and this could mean a 2-versus-1 situation. We have Vayne at top. So they're spreading out. Pretty much Vulcan is going with the defensive line. As Curse goes for an invade, they see Smithy, and he sort of pops a ward out of his rear there. They're all next to him, though, and they're able to take it out.
That's great. Gold for them. Curse already up in gold lead, but you can't even see it. It's just so incremental.
Yes.
They are still going for a push on here. They see one. Smithy just kind of try to hide on the side of the Fog of War there, but Curse has gained complete aggression on this jungle.
Saint with that commando skin not quite blending into the bushes, so they did get seen. That camouflage is not working out too great.
Well, look at the Rome, just complete power in numbers. They're really trying to catch someone out here, and why wouldn't they? They have such a great level 1 with that Dazzle and the amount of damage they can burst out instantly. Looks like they are going to stop pressuring, though, and head to their lanes. Swap coming in.
Yeah, Element's always pretty much starting with the Dazzle. Like, some people will wait even before they get to lane, but he's just like instant. As soon as he gets into Summoner's Rift, he's like, yes, Dazzle.
I'm on the fountain,
we need to go for kills. So that ward over by blue, Saint does know. So it's probably not gonna cause too much problems. They put a nice ward here. You can see at the beginning of their blue ramp too. So it's probably not going to be too much of an early invade. Zuna and Muffin QT can take those golems since they are top, and Voidboy should be fine since he has to have teleport also.
Now we bounce this matchup in the bottom back and forth. Well, the bottom, I'm going to say it's swapped since the AD carry and support have gone top for Vulcan. We have the Doran's support or Doran's start over the Boots pot start coming in here for Vayne. What's the deal for that? MF obviously with the double up damage, but you still get tumble damage from Vayne.
Cop is so confident with MF. He said so many times before that this is his favorite champion right now.
Okay.
And we've seen him start with that Doran's Blade. Look at him just bullying, especially when you know you're going into a 2-versus-1 lane. You don't need this extra sustain from pots, and you just want the extra damage from a Doran's Blade because the single person in your lane is not going to harass you down. The only danger is when a jungler does come and they try and do a counter gank or something. In that case, Doran's Blade is a much better item to have because you've got the extra maximum HP and you've got that extra damage, so good job by him. You don't really want to get those pots for the sustain because you're not going to get harassed.
And as we look at the top and the bottom lane, this swap comes in, knowing that Nidalee is still an exceptional 2v1. You're going up against a Katarina in the respective swap lane, mana to no mana. Would it be just advantageous for the lane pushing against mana to just crush it down on the turret and cause that cost?
I do like the Katarina in this situation. Nidalee, before she's 6, she actually has a hard time wave clearing. Once she turns into cat form, then at the turret she can do a few. I mean, the heal is going to help her a little bit, but that's not really the problem nowadays with the 2-versus-1 lanes. They're always looking for shoving that lane, either getting the early turret or bringing the jungler over for that early 3-man dive and getting a kill. In both of those situations, Nidalee's in a little bit of a questionable situation, so hopefully he'll be able to hold out until he gets to level 6, at which point he will be able to move a lot easier.
And how do you feel about personal preference, the biscuit grab coming from Xmithy in the jungle going in that support column?
I love getting those, the extra biscuit. Anytime you're going to go into the utility tree, it's always nice to pick that up, especially the wards too, the very short-term wards. Those are great for the early invades. Me as a jungler, I always like to have as much information at the beginning of the match as you can, because so much of the match is really decided by that the first few minutes. And with everybody buying so many more wards, and there's the sight stones, and there's so many free wards, it's become a bit more dangerous for those junglers to do early invades.
For sure.
So you have to pick and choose. Like we saw, it was Claky D yesterday. He went for a very early gank. He was sitting on a ward, and everyone just felt so bad for him because he was sitting there. Crumbs just comes up, bam, Q. That's an instant first blood.
Yeah, it's things like that when you think you have the upper hand and they're able to turn it on your head. It's kind of like when KX was talking about the psychological warfare that Zuna puts in with the yelling, right? You're kind of thrown off base for 10 seconds to come back in, and sometimes that's enough for a team to take the turret, grab map vision, but we're back into the match. Nothing really happened here. 3 minutes in as we get an issue situated. 3 minutes on the clock. As I said, no real gold lead coming in since there's been no pressure in the lanes. If you're just joining us, Rivington the third here, and Kobe24 bringing you the first match for your second week, day 2 here of the LCS. Looks like Saint going for aggression here. First time in the matchup, it's going to be double buff Saint on to Mandatory Cloud. This is the first time we've also seen Lulu in mid. How will she be able to handle the pressure? Xmithy coming in for the gank, or the counter gank rather. He's got the proc down the slow on to Saint Vicious. Nijaki trying to focus on that low health. The Rune Prison comes out. A great flash, dodges the flag toss. He goes off, and it looks like they both get out alive.
That was such a risky play from Saint, going in there with sub 100 HP, but he is able to pull it off. The flash away over for one more auto attack onto Hecarim, landing that slow, and they both come out just fine from that. The ignite burn from Rise, but he still has his flash, so he's up a flash in that mid lane on Lulu now.
You know, Kobe, like you said, aggressive, but I think they know the advantage if they can get Nijaki or himself first blood. It's such a good advantage for them. Boy, so much aggression on him in the top lane right now. They're not even really focusing on him. They just want to get this turret down. They want to swap the lanes, and it seems like they want to push this out of the laning phase quite quick.
Yeah, since everybody's putting that defensive ward by their own ramps on these 2v1 lanes, wow, Voyboy with the very last little Teemo right there of the Condemn. It gets him into the turret and then gets that bonus damage.
We go back into the mid lane. Mandatory Cloud actually chooses to stay after that tussle. He burned his flash and he burned his ignite, but he feels safe with the ability kits, or the kit rather, of Lulu to get out of any gank situations. Nijaki also playing pretty passive here, but here comes Saint. He's not trying to lead anything on.
Yeah, I like this play because once you burn the flash out of a middle, your Jarvan, he still has a gap closer. He can go back and continue ganking that lane. Mandatory Cloud is playing very safe right now, though, so he's not in any danger. And Saint, if he wanted to make something successful, he'd have to wait till a time like now where he's fully pushed up. However, Smithy in his background, going to be able to protect that.
Yeah, like you just mentioned, Xmithy doing a great job of what Crumb said yesterday. If you don't see the jungler too much, you have to predict what he's going to do. Like you said, they blew the flash in middle, and Xmithy read Saint for the comeback. But he leaves the lane that time, and Saint stays aggressive here. They go back in. He gets the Glitter Lance, but not onto Jackie. But Jackie stopped to auto attack. It happened the best way for Mandatory Cloud. It's going to be Saint probably coming back into the flash from Jackie. They look to grab first blood, and it goes to Saint Vicious. Xmithy coming in. He could find some trouble here, but it's a low mana bar for Nijaki. Saint is saying run. Nijaki's saying keep going, Saint. And it's going to be Xmithy on the trail here. He gets the red buff proc on. It's going to be taken away. Can he get the next one on the Q? Misses. He's got one more attack, and he finds it just over the edge.
Saint could have thrown a knock-up Jackie's wave at the very end of that.
Yeah, at some point. That became a little too extended of a run.
Yeah, maybe they thought they were going to be okay. But anyway, they did get the first blood. Now Saint is going to trade blows with Smithy. It seems like it's a little late for that, buddy. But yeah, they already got the first blood, so they still came out ahead on that. And it was a good job by Saint camping the middle lane where he got the summoner already. Even though he doesn't have his flash, he's Jarvan. He has a gap closer of his own built in, and he's going to be able to grab that.
Saint getting first blood, and that's been the story for him in Curse in a lot of these games. He's always right there, ready for the reinitiation or ready to make something happen for his team. did it once again. And like I said, I think they feel comfortable grabbing that first blood advantage, even though they lost a kill. Voyboy still being pressured in the top lane. They've almost got that turret down sub 7 minutes.
Yeah, this one's going to go down really quick. A good job by them focusing it. Voyboy's going to use his ultimate just to get a little damage and hopefully scare them off. He's also told Coppin Elements that his turret's about to go down, so now they're focusing the bottom turret. It's really close to. Smithy going to come in and clear out the wave, though, which is really good. They want to keep that turret up as long as possible.
I think Smithy's so omnipresent right now, doing great things for his team. Even though he didn't get anything off of that, he's still pressuring the bottom. You can see Coppin Elements taking that into regard. The top finally goes down at 7 minutes in the game. Let's see if they continue to push that a little bit and then get the AD carry swap back to the regular lane. CRS is going to try to take the Dragon advantage off of that top roam.
This is good. This is the very last moment that they have the opportunity with their AD and support bottom without the AD and support of Vulcan, because they know right after Vulcan takes the top tower, they're going to try and switch their AD carry and support to the bottom. Then CRS would not have the advantage down here, so they take the Dragon. Good job by them, uncontested, and they continue the lead.
They start to go for a little bit of, not mid-game.
This may be an overstay.
Late early game blue invade here. I think they have the numbers. Smithy tries to stay in there to get the smite, but he may find himself going down, forced to ulti away. He'll be safe, but CRS now starting to control some objective buffs.
Amazing play by Smithy right there. 1 versus 4, also gets the ignite out of Rise. He smites away the blue buff, just has to burn his ultimate to get out of there. That's a great play. He'll take that trade any day.
So he's able to make his way around the jungle, thwarting 4 members of CRS in that situation. The bottom turret, however, for them, Vulcan, that is quite torn up, and it looks like they may back here instead of continuously pressuring it. Why would they want to prep this and not take it?
Well, it's interesting that Saint didn't stay, because if they did have 3 members down, they could have done the last little bit of damage to take that turret, but they feel confident in this lane. Vayne and Sona are both notoriously squishy champions, and Coppin Elements are very aggressive bottom lane right down here. If Elements is able to land a stun on Sona, because Vayne has cleanse, they'd rather go for Sona probably in this situation. He can just go ahead and land that exhaust, and Cop can fire off the ultimate as long as he's not in range for the crescendo. Then it should be a nice kill.
Vulcan trying to return the favor here for the aggression onto blue, but if they can get that, they'll have both on the map. Smithy coming around, pushes Nijaki, and they pop him up right as he tries to throw it on the Rune Prison. He's going to have those cooldowns back up as they try to reinitiate this fight. Psycho Sid, left by himself, jumps out of Cataclysm, and CRS looks like they're able to save the blue buff. Will they pursue?
The Glitterland slow right there just saved his life. He's got to be thinking Mandatory Cloud right now. That's going to be everything. So the bottom lane, like I said, it's actually not that bad for Zuna and Mufgudu since they're 6 now. I kind of changed my mind right there. As soon as he does have Crescendo, they've got a lot of answers since the Vayne does have Cleanse.
Trying to look around now, see what's going on in the inventories of Vulcan. Looks like we're going to see a Bruiser Nidalee coming out for these guys, relying on pretty much the AP of Lulu, which isn't going to be a huge amount. So most of their damage is coming out from attack damage. We'll have to see if CRS can just easily mitigate that, come into these fights with some certain builds. We already see the arm guard going out on to Voyboy. He's going to grab that up, and really, you'll love that item. The new item has been seen on a few of the champions.
Yeah, it's so cost efficient. It gives you a lot of really good stats, and it is going to help him against Nidalee because he hasn't bought too much AP yet, so it's going to be a substantial amount of AD damage as well. But Nidalee, so great at solo pushing. We saw this way back in the day when I was even on CLG. Hotshot would always take that Nidalee top and continue pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. She's so hard to catch, and if they ward up, ooh, Zuna taking some good harass right here.
That's a good dazzle, good double up.
So this bottom lane, it's pretty aggressive, but they do need to burn the cleanse out of Vayne. As soon as they get that, then they can go full man mode and press their advantage in the bottom lane. But Psycho Sid, like I said, definitely has the upper hand in this top one-on-one now that they've got a nice ward over by that blue, and he is that mobile Nidalee.
It makes trouble because he is so much disengaged to just pounce out and run away, but you have to focus somebody on him. So Vulcan could really start to come out strong in these fights if they can find the 4v4s and dodge out Voyboy. Really, they want to get rid of St. Vicious, but he's always going to be there. It's the only thing that's locking down Zuna right now.
I like this little trap that Vulcan's kind of setting at the bottom. They've got their turret at 1 hit, and Smithy's hovering around this bottom. He's just waiting for CRS to overcommit, try and get the last hit on that turret, and then he'll come in. He's actually going through no wards and gets behind Cop.
There is Cop for the turret. They're not going to have anything on that. Cop playing very safe in his lane right now. Let's look at some CS. 97 to 96. Great job by both of the AD carries. Highest farm in the game, and they're pretty much neck and neck. And every lane is kind of neck and neck. We have 75, 73 between those top laners. There have been swaps between the lanes, so everybody is really just playing equal right now. Completely anybody's game.
Yeah, and this is going to be a good sign for Vulcan because we get to see if Zuna can shine on that Vayne. He's got plenty of farm to do it. He's equal with an MF, so that's going to be good. It looks like Smithy actually going to come bottom again, and it might be a 3-on-3 as Saint is here following up these pink wards.
Now we'll have to see if he actually goes for the Boots of Mobility next, as he has a little bit of damage coming out in mid from Nightjackie there. But I'm talking about Elements on Tarek. Going for the Flask to start, and then the Philosopher's Stone. Complete amount of regen in lane.
Yeah, Elements is really notorious in the pro support community for doing that. A lot of people only choose one, but Elements almost always starts out with a Crystalline Flask. Okay, so they bring 3 people, and they just get the turret. That's because Vulcan was tipped off. Even though Elements was able to kill their wards down bottom with his pink wards, they knew that he just killed those wards, and that means Curse is going to look for something bottom. Saint is probably down there as well, and so they don't want to risk it. They just give up that last hit on the bottom turret, and it looks like Curse is going to extend their lead.
I like that choice on taking the turret. It's been about a lull of 5 minutes between that turret being taken down top, but that times out the Dragon now. They're actually backing, so will they be prepared for that? It looks like there are a lot of members of Vulcan positioning in that area, poised for Dragon. Mandatory Cloud's going to push out this mid. Let's see what they do.
So there's some good wards by both teams. You can see Curse all the way down this river. They've got pretty much fresh wards the whole way down. That shows that they aren't feeling that they can aggress into the other person's jungle, but they are going to contest that Dragon as soon as it does come up. It's going to be a little bit, but you can see the difference in the top builds here. We've got Katarina building a bit of damage, whereas Nidalee is building full tank. So when the teamfight does come, they're going to get it for free. Yeah, those pink wards are gone. Yeah, Muffin Cutie's not going to be able to steal that by himself.
No, they have the ward there.
That's a ballsy call by me.
Here comes the power cord. They do get the pink ward, though. Cop forced to cleanse that one off. A great Cataclysm does lock in Vayne. There's the ultimate, but Smithy's going to head back into the fight. A lot of focus onto St. Vicious. Cop is able to do so much free damage, and he picks up a kill for himself there as they chase them out. Curse had a great position advantage on this one. They're going to turn it around. There's the teleport from Voyboy, and it's going to leave Psycho Sid top.
Yeah, so that teleport, they don't get anything really out after that. It was already a 1-for-1 trade, and now Psycho Sid's going to be able to get this top turret because he's just sitting up there shoving, sort of in a Stanley-esque way that Nidalee just never leaves lane.
Yeah, building whatever he wants to build, kind of stays in lane, and he's just pure harass for that person all game. Somebody's got to pay attention to it, and it looks like Curse just kind of used it to their advantage. Losing that turret kind of equaled out the gold. We still have First Blood coming into play there. 20,000 to 19,000. It's about 21,000 to 19,000. So a 2,000 gold lead right now. 15 minutes in. 2-to-1 turrets as Vulcan capitalized on that top push. Now since Dragon's going to be going down quite a bit more, or maybe once or twice more I should say, with that top turret down, that gives them a lot of focus after any kind of Baron attempt to go right straight to that inhibitor.
Yeah, so maybe just the threat that Voyboy gave with teleporting down there turned that fight around, and Vulcan wasn't going to continue, but you can't really call that, and Nidalee gets the free tower, so he's going to come right back to that top lane, and now they have to defend the inhibitor turret. You can't let one of those go down, and he's got some wards with him as well, so it looks like he is just going to go with that plan. Mercury Treads means it's going to be even harder to lock down.
He just wants to get away. That's all it is. Escape Artist Nidalee. We actually see the Sheen build coming out here for Hackeroom, trying to put out more damage there. He went for the stone as well on the build, that becoming cheaper, keeping that regen in the jungle for himself. Xmithy playing quite well. Props to him this game so far. 1-0-1, omnipresent in each lane, and really keeping up with Saint.
Yeah, he looks a little bit spread out.
Over Saint,
a little bit spread out in that build. Iceborne Gauntlet's really popular on him, so that's probably what the Sheen is going to build into. But a lot of people have been upgrading to that Elder Lizard first. From the Sightstone, and then he's also got 2 of these pieces that could turn into an Aegis. An early Aegis of the Legion would be nice for them. It doesn't look like they're planning on team fighting though, because they have that solo Nidalee top that's just going to keep shoving and shoving and shoving.
So the AD carries now in Bloodthirster VUL, 140 CS in each. They are just keeping things neck and neck as they mirror that kill score. 1 kill coming in for Cop and 1 assist coming in for Zuna. He needs to get himself a little more fed. They're still all right. It's Vayne. They have that late game coming in from her. Cop, if he can continue to push these lanes here, St. Vicious giving him a little bit of backup. Here comes Elements on the backside as well. They could be looking to take this turret. And really, you're seeing the only thing that can push back Psycho Sid's Nidalee right now.
Yeah, they have to do something right now because Voyboy is going to be losing this turret eventually down bottom. It's, again, back to the old 2-versus-1 situation. A nice, yeah. He's taking a lot of harass there. Smithy, they might have to back off. Elements with the ult down now, though.
You can see the magic resistance helping a bit, but that armor Cop is just going right through the shots. Like Smithy forced to kind of take a back seat in this top 3v1, but he's just kind of waiting in the wings to come back in. If they can get a good stun under the turret, not stun, but crowd control under the turret, they'll be able to do something. But there we go. They're going to get the second turret, even those up. Actually, the third one goes down bottom, so they're just going to try to creep up to even it up. 18 minutes in here. Jackie trying to keep that mid forced. See what Mandatory Cloud is doing. They're 129 to 121 as well. These lanes are just back and forth.
Yeah, another little trick about diving with a Taric on your team, if he uses his Shatter, only his little portion of the armor goes down. The aura is still there, so everybody else is still going to get the benefit. You don't have to yell at your Taric if he uses the Shatter.
It wasn't always the case.
Yeah, it used to be, but it was changed. It was changed a bit ago, and it's a change for the better.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely promoting that team play from Taric so that you don't feel bad using your Shatter because you're going to reduce the armor of your teammates.
Yeah, that was a great change. 2-2 is still the score as both of these teams just stare at each other as they come into the fights. They usually come out with 1-1 and say that's enough. We haven't really seen a full drawn-out team fight between these guys. We did kind of see one where Cop was able to take down Muffin Cutie and they pushed Vulcan into their own jungle for that blue, and we saw Smithy steal it. But still, it was only the 1-for-1. They're finding ways out of these fights. The first real engagement here is going to turn the tide of the game so big.
Yeah, and Jackie's really still at the beginning of his ramp up on both those mana items. He did this last time also, where he got the tier as well. Oh, Smithy coming in from the back.
Smithy, there it is. The crescendo goes out. This could be that engagement. Both teams are just face to face. Zuna taking a lot. He can't get back in to do damage. They've done a great job at sectioning him out, but again, they can't find the kills. There's just low HP. Psycho Sid finds his way into the fight, and again, nobody dies on that one.
Yeah, nobody dies on that one, but 2 people have to go back. So basically, they traded Saint for the AD carry in the rest of this fight. Are they going to be able to finish off this turret? It's only 3 more shots. They do still have Cop.
Oh, Smithy, wow. If that was a double up, that would have not been fun for him. They take the turret. You're going to get a little bit more aggression here.
Yeah, so since nobody actually went down, there was no gold exchange, but they did get the upper hand, sort of trading an AD carry for the jungler in Saint right there. And you can see Cop was able to poke down that turret, and they do actually come out ahead from that.
So Ward going over the wall. You can see Muffin Cutie trying to give the team full vision right now. They know they're on the back foot, and they're just roaming. Power in numbers, 2 seconds on Dragon. Both teams know it. Curse again poised to take this one, but they are going to get a little contest from the backside here. I don't think Vulcan's going to actually go enough.
Yeah, they're a little bit scared still. A lot of cooldown still up from that last fight, so they can't contest this. Don't want to run into anything too early. And Curse doing a good job controlling the dragons this game.
So we see actually Psycho Sid has changed not his mind, but his play style now. He's sticking with the team. That top wave is kind of just pushing itself. With the Psycho Sid there, that would be a huge advantage, but they know they need everybody in the fight because of that Voyboy teleport, and these engagements are now going in favor of Curse.
Yeah, and you could kind of see the difference there, where Zuna is used to playing those really high range AD carries, and now he's on Vayne, so he kind of hesitated a little bit for one shot right there. It didn't change anything really in that team fight, but you could definitely tell.
He didn't find the positioning you want.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that he's used to the really longer range ones because he used that flash really early. And it's you have to be scared because Jackie on Rise, if he lands the Rune Prison, then you're going to be in big trouble if your cleanse is not ready.
So Dragon's really the only thing separating these teams right now. There is a 4,000 gold lead because of Dragons. Everything else is completely even. Turrets, kills, the CS almost neck and neck. The biggest lead there is 20 CS in the top lane for Voyboy.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how Smithy has rushed the Aegis of the Legion, and we've got the Nidalee picking up the Glacial Shroud to go into that Frozen Heart. So they're going a very aura team defense oriented build here. They aren't really discouraged that they're behind right now because they do still have Vayne and they do still have Hecarim. So they've got a nice team comp for coming back from something like this.
And it looks like Elements finally got around to picking up his orange pumps. He does have those on, so we'll be looking for some dazzle initiations from him if he can get himself in there. Boy trying to hold off the push down bottom now from Psycho Sid as they went from top to bottom lane. And Smithy showing a little bit of aggression here in mid.
Yeah, take a couple tower hits. The first tower hits don't really help. Once it starts stacking up on you, then you start to notice.
We're like, oh, he's just out of range, but I got him. Oh no, here's 3 more shots.
Let's get a little taste of it. He's almost back to full right now. Anyway, the regen from a Spirit Stone is actually substantial, and since they reduced that cost, I can't say it enough. Like reducing the cost by 100 was so huge. Pretty much all the junglers that are going to make something out of Spirit Stone will upgrade that almost instantly. Elements with the early Oracle buy, though, we haven't seen that quite as much since they put the timer limit on using it.
Yeah, he actually just came out and popped it, didn't he?
Yep, clearing out those pink wards. They're going to have full control of the Baron vision now, even though it's only 22 minutes in.
I was going to say very early in the game, but that's confidence here. They know they can push Vulcan out of their comfort zone with that, and maybe they're not even actually... Yeah. Trop does have a lot of damage, as I was just about to say. Maybe they're just going to go for a quick bait, which is the better idea at 22 minutes, but they do have the damage here.
Yeah, well, something that will tick you off that they're looking for a team fight is that Cop bought a red pot.
Right.
So that's a huge spike in damage, and as soon as he decides to pop that, they're definitely going to want to force something because that'll be huge. Going along with his Bloodthirster, he's going to have great sustain, and her ultimate scales really well with AD. You don't have to rush the Black Cleaver. It's just a great item that synergizes well with her.
I got to try using that red pot thing because usually I'll come out of a fight and I still have it.
The whole part where you actually use the actives that you've got.
It's great. It's great. It's what you're supposed to do.
It's a good plan to get that, but the execution sometimes.
Just hovering here
Look
on the outside. No vision. Oh, they dive in. Will they get the Cataclysm down onto Zuna? They attack. Here comes the teleport from Voyboy. They get a good stun down. He's forced to flash and cleanse. His ult is on, but it's forced to use. He's using it defensively to get away. Mandatory Cloud forced to flash as well. Curse is just on the click run here. They're forcing the summoner spells. A good push back as they're going to split here. One may go down. No, they use it perfectly. Psycho Sid tries to put himself in there, thinking he can jump over. Takes a little bit too much damage, and they're kind of in the I think I can help my friend mentality, which usually means a lot of them are going to go down here, but they come in with a crescendo. This could actually work out for him. Element's just too strong as he comes in with a dazzle. St. Fish is trying to initiate again. Another fight with no kills. What's going on?
They've used all their gap closers chasing there, even though that fight they burned the flash and the cleanse for Vayne. That is gigantic, and that's what comes from buying that early Oracles, where Elements, they were able to get the vision advantage around Baron, and Vulcan just had no idea they were waiting in that bush. It was such a great little trap that they were laying, that they were rewarded with some summoners. No kills, but the summoners, we saw before how it worked in their favor early game. They can actually get a kill later, hopefully.
Premeditated.
Yes.
They're ready. They were just setting them up, trying to soften it. This looked like Psycho Sid trying to clear this top wave. Vulcan in a very sticky situation if they get engaged on right now. Usually 1, 2, and 1 offensive summoner. So Voyboy still has his flash, a very scary Katarina. Jarvan, St. Vicious still has his flash. That's a huge range initiation if the flag toss doesn't make it. Flash and then Cataclysm. These guys are looking to pressure the Baron. They have the Oracle still, Kobe, and it looks like only contest is going to come from that Nidalee.
Yeah, Nidalee is definitely going to be enough to scare them off, though. They're not strong enough right now to win a team fight with Baron damage. Baron damage is so substantial at only 25 minutes in. They can't take that out. If Vulcan has any idea that they're doing Baron, then they'll probably pull off of it. They do want to get the most out of this Oracles, though. It looks like Muffin has decided to buy one of his own in answer to Elements, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be able to place wards without Curse killing them.
And actually, there it is. They place it down and they kill it.
That's what you want to do. The pink man with the pink eyeball above his head, killing pink wards.
And there it is. Again, they try to pressure onto the Baron, trying to draw Vulcan out of their hiding spot right now. Nijaki, well, they see Nijaki in mid, so that kind of stops the engagement from Vulcan. Trying to get in there. They get some good damage on. A shield coming in from Mandatory Cloud mitigates a bit of the damage, but Xmithy's left with 75%. And if they can get that with really out-trading anything back, these fights are not going to start well for them.
They're probably not going to contest this Dragon either because there's no teleport on Psycho Sid. He's just that single lane shoving Nidalee. And it looks like Voyboy going to go ahead and try to shove him off. He does have a blue pot now, so with the turret to help him, he'll be fine. Besides that, though, it's a free Dragon for Curse, and it looks like Vulcan are just bleeding a little bit more money as the time wears on.
That's scary. Vulcan's trying to pressure these turrets. They were tanking that one out. If anybody were to be caught there, they would completely have lost that fight. They are making some dangerous moves, but they have to right now. This is one of them. Great damage onto Cop, but he's on the outside. The Crescendo stops the bullet time almost completely. Can they turn this one around? They're just taking way too much damage. Smithy trying to put out the DPS, but he cannot. Elements just standing there taking all the shots for his team. It's the only thing that Zuna has to focus, and it's not going to equal a kill. It's going to be 3-1. St. Vicious went down a little bit earlier on that, but Curse finds her first definitive fight win.
See, that's kind of a problem when you have the Nidalee doing the solo shove, and she's not able to get there as quick as Katarina. The rest of your team starting to engage themselves is actually a 4-on-5, and with the Vayne's cleanse and flash being down at the very time that they started the fight, then it was not that good. It's a good thing that the cleanse is on low cooldown because that was the only thing that enabled Zuna to leave that fight. He basically used cleanse as soon as the cooldown came back up, so he's making great use out of that one, but they do lose another turret, and they did lose that fight.
The armor aura coming from Taric right now, like I said, it's going to be pretty much mandatory Cloud coming out with the AP damage, the magic damage. Everybody else is going to be hitting with that AD, and they have everything they need to shut that down. In the middle of the fight, it just looked like Curse's health bars didn't move.
Yeah, and they're really relying on Vayne for most of their damage. Lulu's pretty good with that death cap, but Nidalee has built 0 damage at all. She is a pure tank. She's just the one that wants to stick in the lane and try and shove. They aren't really executing that strategy as I thought they might.
You actually see the Seeker's Arm Guard being bought by Voyboy just as, you know, a pre-item, not even finishing that out yet, just wanted the stats from it so we can see how effective and how much the pros are really liking that item.
Yeah, he's really been in favor of getting that Rylai's first. Saw it last time as well. He really likes the slow, and that's great in this comp too because we've seen so many fights where they burn a lot of summer spells and stuff but they don't end up with a kill with an extra slow that could change the situation.
Voyboy taking a bit of harass here from Psycho Sid, and it's not something we poked at in the beginning of the game, but Vulcan has a lot of chase, but not disengage. Well, really their disengage is to just turn tail and head out with the chase that they have. So, like you said, that Ryla is going to help a little bit more. It definitely helps to stop that composition synergy. Vulcan's trying to get out of the speed. Cop, St. Vicious, and Elements just kind of hanging out the front door here, taking some shots on the inhibitor, drawing that aggression, playing the mind games right now with Vulcan, just showing the dominance on the map. Saint trying to blow the cooldowns as he stands in front. They look to take this inhibitor as it goes down. They are able to stop it there, but Smithy almost gets shredded down immediately right there. Saint may find his way out of this. They get Muffin Cutie to go down, and they are forced back out of the fight without even a turret to fight on them.
All right, so Voyboy had teleport up that whole time, so even if Psycho Sid was able to get something, like, Voyboy teleported in, it's just going to be the end of the game. Like
they crushed it down. That's all they needed for the last fight, and they were able to take down the Nexus. Just off of that, Mandatory Cloud and Psycho Sid trying to hold this one in. It's going to be 30 minutes in. That all Curse needed to take this one out. Really the teleport coming in for Voyboy. Like you said, he didn't